Dr. Heather Felton is a pediatrician with UofL Physicians, ULP, as well as an assistant professor at the UofL Medical School. And she's here to talk today about things around the house that you may not even realize could harm your kids. Welcome,
Yes.
Dr. Felton.
Hello, thank you.
Good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
We always have interesting discussions about
Yes,
kids and
yeah.
their health and that kind of stuff.
Everything they can get into.
And the things they can get into, that's right. All right, well, it's Poison Prevention Week in Kentucky when this is airing. And so let's talk about a poison that maybe parents haven't even thought about. Laundry detergent packets. Right.
Yeah. I know there's even a commercial out now where it shows a child playing with one or starting to play with one, and then the mom grabs it and puts it up. And they're advertising the packets, but they're also saying to put it up, which is definitely the advice that I would give if you have them. But really the whole commercial makes me cringe because I hate seeing the little toddler holding the little laundry packet, because I know what's going through his mind, and it's like, this looks like candy, or it looks like a cake or something I'd want to put in my mouth.
Yeah.
And that is so bad.
And we're talking about those little plastic, they come in the plastic and they
Yes.
dissolve in the laundry, right? That's
yeah.
what we're talking
so
about.
it's a highly concentrated detergent. That's why you only have to use a little bit, and that was kind of the appeal of it. But the problem is that it's so highly concentrated, and you put that with a little kid who is exploring the world and touching everything, sticking everything in their mouth. And that is not a good combination. So anything that's wet, so like putting it in their mouth, will cause that packet to dissolve, and then you've got that detergent in their mouth, and that could be swallowed and cause injury.
Yeah. Is there enough concentration of what's in the laundry detergent to kill a child, or is it just to make them really sick and...
Both,
Okay.
really. It's definitely possible if the injury were to be severe enough and to go on long enough without the symptoms being realized or to receive medical treatment, that would be possible.
Okay. So what do you recommend as the pediatrician?
So I have two little ones myself. I've got
Okay.
a 3-year-old and a 10-month-old. The 3-year-old is much better about not putting things in her mouth now, but the 10-month-old is definitely into it. Everything's
going in the mouth, huh?
And I just don't get them. I get the liquid laundry detergent. And then all of my laundry detergent at home and everything that I have, that since I have little ones who are mobile and moving around, is either put up high where they can't reach it, or if it's in a cupboard down below with the child safety lock on it so they wouldn't be able to get into it.
You know, we're talking about the laundry detergent little packets, but the dishwasher
The
things,
ones
they're
are
the
absolutely
same
true.
ones.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And so, like, my kitchen doesn't have something kind of above the sink where I could put those up. So it's down below, but it has the child safety lock on it, so they couldn't open it and get in there.
Of course, that should be a child safety lock. If you got kids in your house, it ought to be on that.
That's something you
On
got to
that
think
anyways,
about.
right?
Yeah, so most kids start crawling around 6 months or so, something about then. So about that time, you want to go out and buy a lot of those child safety locks to prevent drawers and cupboards from opening, and the little plastic pieces you stick into electrical sockets too. So.
Well, we're talking with Dr. Heather Felton, who's with the UofL Physicians, and she's a pediatrician, and we're talking about things around the house that can cause a problem for your kids if they get into them. It's Poison Prevention Week in Louisville and in Kentucky. What are some of the other things that maybe parents don't even think about that their kids could get into that could cause them to get sick, or even worse, kill them?
Or get hurt, yeah. There are a lot of different things. One of the tools that I recommend for parents sometimes is an app called Make Safe Happen. There's an app for that. There's an app for everything. There's an app for this.
Make Safe Happen.
Make Safe Happen, yeah.
Okay.
You download it onto your phone, and what's nice about it is that you can program it to your child's age, and it'll tell you kind of what they're at risk for now. So like what you worry about for an infant is different than a toddler, is different for a kid in grade school, is different for a teenager. And so you can program it for these different age ranges, and then you can go through your house and you can search by outdoors, by living room, by bathroom, and kind of figure out what things do I need to think about as I move through the house. So that's one that I like a lot. So if it's something that we're not talking about today or has not come up with your pediatrician, then that's one of the things that
Use
I like
that app.
that parents can look at for. Because we were kind of talking about children as they become more mobile and moving around, furniture tip overs is something that you hear about every once in a while, but I don't know that it always gets the full discussion like some of the big ticket items do. You know, we always hear about car seat safety and drowning, which are very important and the most common injuries, but this one's a great one to talk about. And so there was a video recently that went
Everybody
viral.
saw that video. It went
with
viral.
The twins and the dresser fell over on
the
top
one
of
kid, and then the other kid picked it up and got his little brother out from underneath the
so
thing.
any heavy furniture like that, you want to have secured to the wall. And so they make different products, brackets where you can actually fasten it into the wall. They also make safety straps so it wouldn't hurt your wall if that's something that you're worried about. And then any heavy items like TVs and things like that, you want to make sure it's on a stand that it was made to go on. So something with a wide base that it's not easily to tip over. But most people mount their TVs anyway, which is also great.
Well, it's funny you should mention this because I remember when my wife and I both saw that online one time, and we had little kids way back when. We had the locks on the doors of the cabinets so they couldn't get in the cabinets and get into some poisons there. But we didn't even think about, well, he's 4 or he's 5, he's wandering around and he can pull over a dresser drawers and that kind of stuff. And we didn't even think about it. We had our TV, one of the big old TVs that were heavy, and we had it on an old sewing machine that was it had a narrow base, and we're looking at that, going, well, that was really stupid, because they could have. Either one of my kids could have pulled that off and been smashed by it.
Tip over. Yeah, because they'll put their whole weight in, and they're trying to climb on it and pull themselves up. So they'll put their whole body weight into it, and it can come down on top of them. So, yeah, it's an important thing to think about.
And how about drawer stops for the
Those
drawers?
are good, too. So,
out.
yeah, I hear that a lot of times. I'm lucky my girls aren't quite that adventurous, but I do hear parents that come into my office and tell me about their kids who are like, they climbed up all the drawers and they use them like steps to get up on top of the counter or get into a drawer or something like that.
Or they pull one out from the top of the dresser and it hits them in the head.
Yeah, that's mine may have done that actually. Yes.
Yeah. You may be guilty on that one, right?
Yes.
Again, we're talking to Dr. Heather Felton, who is a pediatrician at University of Louisville Physicians and at the UofL Med School, teaches there. Driveway safety. You so often you hear about kids inadvertently getting backed over by their uncle or aunt or grandma or somebody.
You'll hear about it every once in a while. You hear a story about that, and it's really sad. And so many of these are unfortunate because they're all preventable injuries or accidents. And that's the thing, is that if you're aware about it beforehand, there are steps that you can take to minimize your risk. And so I usually recommend not making the driveway an area where children play. This is for cars. We don't want to play here. So a good way to keep children out of the driveway is to not leave toys in the driveway. It's a little homing beacon for children. You don't want that. The other thing is that before you get into your car, do a once around, walk all the way around the car once before getting in and backing out. And in general, kind of letting kids know that the car is not a place to play. Like even in a parked car, kids can get locked inside. And that's happened before too. They run the risk, especially in the summertime when it's hot outside, of having injury due to the high temperatures.
Right.
So kind of knowing that like the car in the driveway is off limits and this is not a safe area to play.
Yeah, the car's for riding in, and that's about it with mom and dad, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you seen any kids that have been left in? Have you had any instances where you personally have seen any kids left in cars where it was really hot?
You don't see it that often. That's one of the
Right.
fortunate things about it, is it is a fairly rare incident to happen. The unfortunate thing is that the temperature inside cars can rise very quickly. And so the chance of that happening and having a good outcome afterwards is kind of
Not
low
good.
unless the child has gotten out of the car pretty quickly.
What are the tips? You always see them whenever one of these deaths happens, the tips for parents when they're taking the kid to preschool or whatever, or the nursery. What would you recommend that they do to try remember, hey, I got a kid in the back seat, and they'll just leave them there?
One of the things I think is so interesting is that when you look at the statistics of it, it can happen to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
It really is something that you take a parent who has a new baby. This is a new routine for me. I am exhausted because they were up all night. And then especially if it's something where like the day is out of the routine, the regular parent who drops them off is not the one who did it today. And so I can't rely on my muscle memory, and somebody will forget. And I think we've all done that. We think we're going home and we end up somewhere else, and you're like, how did this happen? I don't even remember how I got here. So I think the first step is to realize, like, yeah, it could happen to me. And so what can we do? They have a couple of different ideas that I like. So one is taking something like your phone and sticking it
Put it in the back seat with the kid because you got to have the phone.
Gotta have your phone. Everybody's
yep.
got their phone all the time. Yeah, and then the added bonus that you probably shouldn't be on your phone while you're driving anyway. But that's a great one. When my daughter was born, my husband and I each had like a pretty large stuffed animal that we would put in the car seat. And then when we take my daughter and put her in her car seat, the stuffed dog came and sat in the front seat with me. So if I was sitting next to a big stuffed dog, that meant the
you know the
baby was
kid's
in the back seat.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so there's little things
like.
just to remember that they're back there.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, Dr. Heather Felton, thanks for being on the program
Thank
again.
you.
Always enjoy seeing you.
Absolutely.